Hey guys, welcome back to Lovin Dubai show. Our guest today is our very own local funny guy who's set to hit the stage on August 18th for his comedy special, Expat of Arabia. Welcome to the show, Yash Bhardwaj. How are
Thank
you?
you. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, and
Thanks for
that
being
too
here.
on the Independence Day.
Right?
What
Yeah,
a perfect occasion. What a perfect occasion. So, how long
right.
have you been in Dubai? And tell us.
Um, I moved here 2015, so it's been almost 8 years now. Yeah, it feels nice. I mean, I feel
Is this your home away from home? Will you be
pretty
celebrating
much,
Independence Day?
pretty much. I feel very free here.
Mm-hmm.
When it's the Independence Day, I think for Indians, as soon as they start living away from their family, that's Independence Day. So yeah, it's been the theme since I moved out of India. So
What are your plans to commemorate today specifically? Like we know the gist of like leaving home. It does feel like
yeah.
independence, but
Look,
anything special?
honestly, no plans. I was just hearing you guys live outside and realized, oh yeah, it's Independence Day. So because we've been celebrating Independence Day for so many years, like sometimes it just like you tend to forget. But like I just remembered this morning that it's our Independence Day, so now I have to act all patriotic all day now.
Not to act, but anyway, tell us
Yeah.
about how you got started into comedy and tell us a little bit about yourself and our audience.
Yeah, so I actually started doing comedy in Abu Dhabi. I started in 2017. I took up a writing comedy workshop with this brand called Yalla Laugh back in Abu Dhabi, and I actually started doing comedy in Abu Dhabi in 2017. And back in the days, like it was tough. It's because comedy was like super new.
Mm-hmm.
So you would just like be performing in front of people who would sit with a straight face, and then they come and tell you that was a great seminar, and then and then you just that would scar you for life. So
Really?
but then eventually it just picked up, and then I moved to Dubai here in 2020. I remember back in the days, Desi comedy used to be like quite a thing. Everyone used to be doing like Desi comedy, so that was pretty big. So I used to love doing Desi comedy, but then like eventually when I moved to Dubai, I started doing a lot of English comedy. And then I started my own comedy production called Flamingo Life. So we produce a lot of local line of shows as well. So obviously my stage time personally increased by leaps and bounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then I became a better comedian. I started doing shows outside of Dubai and everything. And then I just thought, like, I think it's about time, because next year again I'll start touring. So I think it's about time I need to pay a tribute to whatever I've learned in Dubai as a comedian. So hence why the show is called Expat of Arabia, because this is who I am.
We'll get into your upcoming show
Yeah.
and everything in a bit, but can you tell us more about what you were doing prior?
Yeah.
Because obviously you got to a point where you're like, oh my God, this is what I want to do full time, right?
Yeah.
Was it scary for you transitioning into what you want to do now?
No, so I don't do this full time.
Okay.
So I mean, this is one advice that every comedian will give to anyone who's starting out doing comedy: do not quit your day job, because you don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, I mean, I still have a day job, by the way.
Okay.
So I used to work with Zomato for 7-8 years actually. So I was part of their advertisement sales team, and then Zomato being a very supportive environment, I always got that support from them to do comedy after my work. So I think it's not easy to become a full-time comedian unless you're in a very developed comedy market, where there are networks to cover you as a comedian. There are platforms that would put your comedy on a streaming platform, etc. So Dubai is not there yet as far as comedy is concerned. Like, comedy is not a mainstream art form as of now.
Yeah.
But sooner or later, let's hope, hoping for the best.
So I know comedians just don't like it when they're like, put on the spot and like, tell us a few jokes. Are you one of them?
No, I hate it.
You hate it?
Yeah, that's because, I mean, I would love to tell a joke or two for sure, but like, that's like, when you tell someone that you're a comedian, and then you're like, tell us a joke, like, more than anything, it comes across like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
That you're a comedian.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Or like you just want to laugh.
Yeah, but like sometimes if you tell someone that you're a dentist, that you won't be like, oh, can you do something to my teeth and like show it to me how it works. So it comes across like that. But like, I think look, jokes I'll tell you a bit of routine that I do, you know. So I'm doing a lot of stuff about, you know, how Dubai is so interesting that, you know, like, even though it's like 50 degrees Celsius outside, but like people who come from like really cold countries, they actually come here to defrost. So like, like you literally in peak summer on the beach, you'll see people getting orange, right? So again, there's a lot of stuff I talk about that. I talk about, you know, how, you know, doing comedy in a market like UAE, where, you know, in Middle East in general, where comedy wasn't a thing. So again, you know, things like that, where people come up to you and they give you feedback every now and then, and they tell you stuff like, "Hey man, nice seminar. You know, don't do it again." You know,
Get out.
stuff like that. And then, you know, when you live in Dubai, you know, you start going out. You obviously, you know, you try dating. We've all been there, you know. So obviously a lot of funny stuff come out of that. A lot of the stuff that I talk about is actually like, you know, 21 plus, not appropriate for all the audience type.
Yeah,
hence the tickets. Yeah, exactly. So hence the tickets, hence the like, you know, whatever shows we do are all 21 plus, because, you know, it's not appropriate for all age groups. Yeah.
Inappropriate jokes.
Inappropriate jokes. I
Our
know.
favorite.
Our favorite.
I know. My family wouldn't be proud, but you know, it is.
Do
what
they
it is.
watch? Have they seen anything?
No, I tell them that I talk about good things.
Yeah.
You know, like
Watering plants.
like India is best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah,
prime
yeah.
minister is the greatest.
Global
we talk about
warming.
global warming,
Yeah.
climate change,
Yeah.
tech. You know, oh look, it rained. So things about that. You know.
So where do you draw your inspiration from? Is it like things you pick up online, a mix of real life, what you face, plus other people's experiences, or how is it?
Yeah, so look, it's a mix. So a lot of my comedy comes from travel as well. Like, you know, I've traveled extensively, so I pick, you know, anecdotes from there, and then, like, you know, I what I try to do is, what's my favorite form of comedy is, I do a lot of cultural contrast, and it works really well here in a market like Dubai, where, you know, I'll be doing comedy for people coming from non-South Asian backgrounds. So I contrast their culture with mine, you know. So things like that, basically. Like, for example, you know, like intermittent fasting, you know, people from the West, they're doing intermittent fasting, saying, oh, it's the best way to lose weight, etc. Like, you know, for us, if you tell in India, like, you're doing intermittent fasting, they'll be like, beta, are you poor? Like, you know, you are not able to afford three meals a day. So like, it's stuff like that. It's like a lot of contrasting that I do. You know, a lot of my stuff, pretty much everything that I say or joke about is very personal. It's very self-deprecating, because I don't want to make jokes on, you know, someone else's expense when my life itself is so funny. You know?
Do you think it's a mindset thing that you need to have as a comedian? Because obviously you're saying you're taking stuff that are so real, and you're putting this twist on it to get people to laugh. Is it a mindset that you grow up with, or is it something that you develop?
Yeah, it's an Indian family thing, you know. We pull each other down, like, you know, especially the cousins. Like, you know, we're not happy with anyone's success. We're like, yeah, he made it because, you know. So it's just that thing. Like, it's just an ongoing banter. Like, we're not with this, because Indian families, there's almost like, there's always so much about, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, and like, you know, it's at that point, like at some point you feel that, oh, that's stressful, but at the same time you're like, oh, that was also funny, you know. So yeah,
Vicky
I think
Kaushal said in an interview, no one else can put me down because my family puts me down
exactly.
so much.
Yeah.
Same vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Same vibe.
Yeah. So if I call my parents right now, I'll be like, oh, I was on radio, I was doing this, I was on Lovin Dubai show. They'll be like, So is it still hot there? So you know,
Like,
they don't
call back. We're having a
More
lunch.
pressing questions.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff. No. They'll always talk. They never ask me to call back.
So, okay, I want to ask you, like, with, you know, on stage when you're performing, I'm sure you have times where you freeze up, where you forget what you have to say next. So how do you, like, in those situations, what do you do?
Look, so far that hasn't really happened to me so far, is because I'm just uselessly talkative sometimes, you know. But like, what happens is, when you're performing, sometimes, like, there is a pin drop silence, and you thought that was your best joke. Like, where do you go from there? You know. So that has happened like so many times.
Well,
and that,
where do you go from there?
Home. Where else will you go, man? So it is, yeah. That's
I mean,
that's
is there any way you try to change the situation around because you're expecting love?
Yeah, so a lot of things. So I used to do, especially when I was starting off, because this used to happen quite often back then. So my few lines of relief was like, okay, so that was my best joke. Thank you, everyone, and then everyone would laugh at that. Like, oh, that was your best joke, huh?
Okay.
And then like stuff like, oh, my cat liked that joke, but okay, I get it. So like, you know, something of that sort. So I'll just break the tension in that room, and I'll make them laugh at me, so that, you know, things get lightened up. But then now I'm a bit more equipped these kind of situations, is because over the years I've learned how to do crowd work. You know, I've learned.
Give us a few tips on that, because there's so many up and coming comedians, and those who just seek tips from pros like yourself. You know.
So I think, look, crowd work is there's one mistake that everyone makes while doing crowd work at the start, is that let's say if I asked you, hey, what's your name? Just tell me your name.
Simran.
Yeah, so I'll try to make a joke right there.
Okay.
Oh, so you're Raj is Simran, like, you know, I'll try to make a joke there. And that's the biggest mistake. It's because, you know, sometimes you should just let the conversation flow, let the audience know who Simran is, ask you questions. A joke will come by.
Okay.
You know, like, for example, I keep asking you, oh, what do you do? Oh, I work in Lovin Dubai. Oh, thank you for telling me about all the long weekends. Like, you know, so that just becomes a better joke, rather than just like, you know, pouncing on that first cliche that comes into my mind when I hear your name, right? So I think it's just about having a genuine conversation with someone, and then the jokes just come by. And even if it's like, you know, even if I'm not able to find you funny or anything funny in your life, I'll be like, okay, welcome to the show, Simran. How about you? Like, you just move on to the next one.
I was going to ask you about that, because I see that a lot with like just like comedy TikTok.
Yeah.
What if you don't know how to like derive a joke out of someone?
Yeah, no, it's fine. Look, so technically you're just having a conversation with the person you met. Like, you know, that's a different thing, that a joke comes by. But like, what I'm doing is I'm just getting to know the room, right? So everyone knows the room. And suddenly, you know, later on, I was doing a joke where I had a callback. Let's say you were the engineer. So like, you would know that. So, and then maybe I didn't have a joke back then when I asked you and you told me you were an engineer. And suddenly I started doing my jokes, and a callback came by, and like, now I can link these two together, right? So it's about getting to know the room, right? And that's again one mistake that even me I used to make, that I try to come up with a joke then and there in the very first thing you tell me, and that's the biggest mistake. If it's not a good one, like, just don't say it.
Just keep on.
Yeah, because cliches are the worst form of comedy, where you just go on stage and you just put a cliche out there.
Okay, so you have your gig coming up, Social District, Palm Jumeirah, very exciting, and you are a producer of like Dubai's Comedy Club and, you know, Flamingo Life.
Yeah.
We know all of this, but like, tell us about your online presence just a little bit, because you have a great stage presence, you've established all of that, but how important is it to stay relevant on social media? Super
important. Super important, is because, you know, what happens is, again, talking purely about the perspective of staying relevant, especially as a stand-up comedian who's, you know, always on stage. You need people to like recognize you, need people to buy your tickets, so you have to stay relevant. And then you can only release X number of jokes online, because once that joke goes online, it is difficult to do that joke again on a ticketed show, right? So if you see my Instagram, I don't post a lot of jokes. So I post a lot of crowd work, right? So what happens is, I am putting a stand-up comedy clip of mine, but I'm not giving away a joke. I'm keeping the jokes for everyone who buys a ticket to the show, right? Apart from that, I do a lot of, you know, random reels. I did a series. One of my reel actually crossed like 30 million views. That was, I bought a camcorder and I was just playing with it, okay? And then I realized that they have this night vision feature. It just makes you look like you're shooting the Blair Witch Project. And I made a very funny you know, paranormal investigation video, and I was just like, oh, this is so funny. I was just testing this feature, and in the morning I woke up and the video just like
insane
took off. I got like 10,000, 12,000 new followers
Oh, that's incredible.
by just one single video.
Oh my God.
One single video.
It's so random how things go viral.
And people stole, I wouldn't say stole, they basically downloaded that video and they posted on their pages, like all these meme pages. And even they got like individual 3 million, 4 million views. Like, so.
Incredible.
But have they like tagged you and everything?
No.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's so typical
fine.
though. It's so
But you know what? Honestly, after a while, you lose the track of it. I mean, it went to such an extent, that video got viral to such an extent that I had to pause my Instagram notifications. You know, I've never done that in my life. I'm like, before that I was to refresh, please someone like a picture. Please someone like, after that I'm like, please, can you all stop?
Like, see me for who I am, don't see me at all.
Exactly.
Can't relate to like, oh, make the notification stop.
Yeah, and then I'm so happy now because they finally stopped. Yeah, because I was like, I'm happy with the notification. Let them flood in, but I'm also posting the other stuff.
Yeah, look at the other stuff.
Yeah, look at the other stuff. Like, you know, I know I got the validation for it. Like, you know, and yeah, I mean, that was the best purchase I've ever made. The camcorder.
Paid off.
Yeah, it paid off in like literally the first night.
Wow.
That's it.
But congrats on all of that. And do tell our followers where they can follow you and about your show that's coming up.
Okay, so you guys can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. It's very simple. It's Yash, YASH _HOUR. It's Yash Hour, rhymes with rush hour. I've kept it plain and simple. Yes.
Got it.
See what you did there.
Good one. Yeah, I basically came up with that in the Sharjah traffic.
Rush Hour.
Yeah, so I was like,
Yash Hour.
Correct.
The movie Rush Hour. Everything ties in.
Everything makes sense. Everything just fits well. I actually changed it for a bit to Yash makes jokes. And then people messaged me and they bullied me back into Yash Hour. Anyway, so my show Expat of Arabia is actually on Friday. So if you have no Friday plans, to buy your tickets, super limited tickets left. You can buy the tickets on Virgin Megastore tickets, 800 tickets. The tickets are priced at 100 dirham. That's as much as a parking fine. A parking fine makes you cry, will make you laugh at the same cost. So that's amazing. And we have, also apart from me, we got 3 amazing opening acts. The show is hosted by Adi Thomas, who's an Abu Dhabi kid. He's brilliant at improv. He's brilliant at crowd work. So he'll be hosting the show. There's Noha Bashir, who is Egyptian, and she's lived in America and Canada, and then she brings all those stories on stage. There is Abdullah Hassan, who's actually Somali by heritage, but then he's also he's Canadian by nationality. So he again brings all those Somali stories, Canadian stories, living in Dubai, etc. So it's a phenomenal lineup, and we basically we almost have a packed show already.
Social District Palm Jumeirah this Friday. Fun. And do you want to sign off with any of your iconic jokes?
He said he hates that.
Let me just filter them out for PG-13. So
I think that'll take a while.
No. So I actually came up with this. Not came up with it. I remembered this last week. So when I was growing up, my dad was the only one in our entire extended family to get a passport. And then, he went to London by himself, didn't take us along. And like we knew he was coming back because he called us and he told us, do you know how much a roti is here? So we knew he was coming back. And then, he told me that I'm getting you headphones. And I asked him, what headphones are these? And then he said, it's a surprise. It starts with B. So I was super happy. I thought it's Bose or it's Beats. Yeah, so he came back and he gave me these headphones that were by this company called British Airways. So just, So what follows after that is not PG-13. So we'll keep it for the stage.
Just stingy, desi father things. I think Arab fathers are pretty much the same.
You can relate on the level that you don't understand. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's been such a pleasure.
Same here.
Friday.
Social District.
Timing?
8 p.m.
And
Doors open at 7:30, so
Okay.
if you get free, if you're a teacher, you can come at 6 maybe.
Right.
So yeah.
Well,
They're on summer
perfect.
holidays, but okay.
Yeah.
Guys, that is it from us. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back with you same time, same place tomorrow.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.